Hello, my peaches, and welcome back to my channel. I am doing a part 2 of the Jubilee Fit versus Fat. I know it's been a while since I did part 1, and I look a little different for part 2, but hopefully we can continue through. Part 1, Jubilee, I had some copyright strikes and I had to go back and forth with Jubilee on whether or not my content was transformative enough. Ultimately, I was able to articulate that my video did provide new content and was transformative and was not a replacement for the original video. I really don't get that many views and clicks, let's be honest. I have less than 20 followers, so I don't know why they would be that intimidated or threatened by me. I have like less than 20 followers, and I think the most views I've ever received on any video was 200, so it's not a lot. This is a hobby, and I'm here enjoying my hobby and enjoying sharing my opinions and editing videos, because ultimately that's what I'm doing. So this video is going to be part 2 of that same Jubilee video. I have not watched the rest of this Jubilee video, which means this is still a blind reaction, even though it's been over a month since the last video that I recorded and did. I am planning to publish more videos consistently, but again, this is a hobby. I do have some larger projects that I aspire to work on and complete. Again, this is a hobby. I need to make time. And as I said in the last video, if you don't make time, you don't prioritize something, it's not going to get done. I haven't been prioritizing this. I haven't been dedicating and setting time aside to do this, and it wasn't getting done. That's true with anything in life. If you don't prioritize something enough and you don't make the time to make that a priority, then it's not going to get done. Perfect example, me not putting out videos in over a month. So, oh, I'm not naked. I have clothes on. I know there was like 1 or 2 comments about how I was condescending in the last video. Just because I state something that I know is true and factual, and it's something that you don't like or don't want to believe is true, doesn't make it less true. And it doesn't make you a bad person if you live a different lifestyle. I think the main thing was about how paying for the convenience of prepackaged meals, you're paying for that convenience versus buying whole foods ingredients and using mental capacity to create meals and meal prep for that. I think that was like where individuals thought I was being condescending and ableist. 2 things can be true. It can be cheaper to buy whole foods, and it is cheaper overall to meal prep those whole foods and have that for the week. That does take mental capacity in order to achieve that, versus paying for the convenience of meals that are already created, prepackaged, and frozen. Those 2 things can be true at the same time. If you're trying to save money overall, you save money buying whole foods, but that cost is the mental capacity that it takes to prep, make, and create those meal preps. When you buy those prepackaged foods, you are going to pay more, but you're saving yourself that mental capacity of having to create those meals, prep them, and freeze them. One is not better than the other, but to say you're saving money by buying prepackaged meals That is not true. You are saving money buying the whole foods. However, you're saving mental capacity when you buy the prepackaged foods. When you are talking about saving money, are you talking about your time or are you talking about the actual monetary value of what you're getting? Because that does make a difference. There are times where I will pay for the convenience of something because I value my time and I am paying for that convenience because the time it would take to do it does not outweigh the convenience of purchasing something. A great example is having the oil changed in my car. Could I do it? Sure. Do I want to do it? No. That would take the mental capacity and mental bandwidth of researching how to do it, going somewhere where I could have the tools and equipment to do it, and then actually doing it. Would it be cheaper to change the oil of my vehicle? Sure. But do I want to expend that time, that mental capacity, and arranging everything that would be needed in order to achieve that? No. I'd rather pay for the convenience of someone else doing it. Neither one is good or bad. You choose the option that best suits you, your lifestyle, and what you can afford, and you do that. If I appear condescending in stating this information, that is not what I am trying to convey. But I do know sometimes I can come off as impartial, unemotional, and I guess off putting, condescending, whatever. Take what works for you, throw away the rest. If something I say can benefit your life, take it. If something that I say has no value, no meaning, and does not benefit you in any way, throw it away. Doesn't matter. As I continue this hobby, I would absolutely love to become monetized. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to support me, a great way to do that is to hit the follow button, hit the like button, and maybe comment. If you share, that's also great. Again, this is a hobby, so I don't need to become not monetized, but it would be a personal goal that I have that I would love to achieve. And I can't do it alone. I need the help of my followers or just people who see this and feel like they want to support me. If you choose to do that, I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate the time that you're taking to watch this. And thank you for helping me achieve my goals. All right, let's start the reaction.
Sorry, Alexa. I'm getting the signal. Fit women are more attractive than fat women. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I think this depends. I think there are very attractive fit women, and depending on how you define fat or what you're into, there are very attractive fat women. Fat, I believe, can range from overweight to class 1 obesity to class 2 obesity to class 3 obesity, morbid obesity, overweight, class 1 obesity. I would say that there are a lot of very attractive women that are within that range, as well as fit women. Individuals that are morbid obese, I don't know if I would find them attractive because being pansexual, I'm more attracted to the individual as a whole, their personality, the vibe between myself and them, what we can do together. I try to live a relatively fit lifestyle and a relatively healthy lifestyle. So I think if there was someone who wasn't able to do the things that I enjoy and do the things that I like, it would be very hard to continue to find them attractive. Because when you do things you enjoy and you do them with another person, those memories, those endorphins, and those positive chemicals are being associated with that person. That's, I believe, why they say to work out with your partner and to do things you enjoy with your partner, because you're doing those things that raise your endorphins and raise those like happy chemicals, and those all of those are being associated with that individual, and you want those positive chemicals and those positive memories and those positive interactions to be associated with the person that you want to be with. So someone who is not able to participate in things that I enjoy, it'd be hard to continue to find them attractive if I can't have those positive memories, experiences, and endorphins associated with them.
I would definitely agree. Fit women are more attractive than like plus size women, only because me having this body, it shows that I can commit to something, right?
There's only one person who walked up for that. I am so interested to see like what the other fit girls with or women, what the other fit women have also said with this, because I am so surprised that there's only one person who walked up for this. But then I guess I'm not super surprised, because I don't know if I would have walked up for this because of my explanation. You don't necessarily need to be fit to be attractive.
And it shows that I'm hardworking. So I feel like men looking at my body can see, oh, okay, she's dedicated. She put in the work, and that could be an attractive quality that men see in me. I would definitely go for like a more muscular guy. So that kind of shows that we have something in common, something that we can work on together.
So gym dates.
Yeah, gym dates for sure.
All right, thank you.
Again, if you enjoy going to the gym and you enjoy working out and you want to have those endorphins and positive experiences associated with your partner, yeah, then you'd want to go to the gym with that person.
Can we bring in the disagreements?
I feel like I'm gonna get flamed alive now. It's all good.
I'm bisexual, so I love women. I love women.
All the bisexual.
I think all women are beautiful. I've had relationship with women that are fit, that are not fit, variety. And I can tell you that personality-wise, the skinniest ones and the most beautiful ones have had a personality that I cannot work with. Me.
I wish I had more experience to comment on this. However, I'm married. I met my husband. We started dating and we got married. So I found my person. I enjoy my person. We have a very comfortable, happy life together. And I would not trade my person for anyone else. I find my person, my husband, very, very attractive. I thought he was attractive when I first saw him, first met him, and I love his personality and I love who he is. I love him as a whole complete person. He is my person. I wish I yes, I wish and I don't wish. I wish I had more to comment on that. I can only make assumptions. I don't have experience. I guess I can say with like friends. I don't know. I'm a weird person, so I think my weird vibes usually turn away a lot of rude people in general. I have been told a few times that I present myself as a mean girl until I open my mouth, and then I'm a nerd. And I think that usually repels a lot of different people who I may not want in my life.
Personally. Me. So
Yeah.
and it comes from a place that the way that I grew up, the way that they grew up, thoughts, minds, you surround yourself with people that you like, that is like you. Your personality has more beauty than the way that you look.
So your physical looks will disappear. My grandma, she used to be a very petite, tiny woman, grew up in the Philippines. My grandpa the same way. Now they're a little bigger, they're more comfortable. 50 years later, still in love.
Hell yeah.
My grandpa always makes jokes. Like, when I remember growing up, he was like, this is Burger King and this is McDonald's. I'm the king and I'm loving it. And I'm like, that's my grandpa. He showed me like,
That's funny. When she was talking about how her grandparents were fit and skinny, and then as they got older, they got a little fluffier. I once spoke with an artist who retained a lot of youth looking features, and I remember once it was, I think my mom asked her. I remember once my mom asked her, how do you stay looking so young and so youthful? Because I think she was like in her 70s or 80s, and she looked like she was like in her 50s, her 40s or 50s. And she was so funny. She said, well, growing up, I was pretty skinny, pretty lean. And as I got older, I got a little fluffier and it filled out all my wrinkles. And that just stuck with me for the longest time because it's true. Right now, you see, I feel now in our society, you see a lot of people who may have been larger, and as they get older, they lose weight. And then their skin, because elasticity is not as great as you get older in like your 60s, 70s, 80s. So you lose elasticity, and if you lose weight, your skin does not bounce back as much, and it impacts how old you look versus if you start getting wrinkles and then gain a little bit of weight and it fills in the wrinkles, then you don't look as old because you don't have as many wrinkles. It's very interesting that wrinkles are associated with older age. Also, wear sunscreen. Wearing sunscreen will keep you younger because you'll have less skin damage or sun damage to your skin. Stay hydrated and take care of yourself.
you can appreciate a woman through all the changes, like,
Exactly.
and that's why I love, like, I could be, once I get skinny, like, my boyfriend can still love me, but maybe he loves me more because how I am personally.
I think people like to be like, oh, it's always going to be the fit woman is more attractive than the plus size woman. I just don't think that's true. Like, there's a lot of beautiful fit women. There's also a lot of not very beautiful ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? To assume that size will always equal more attractive, I just think is like silly. It's a case by case basis.
It also depends on what you're attracted to. Sure, I appreciate a good looking individual, but I appreciate personality a lot more. I know there are guys who are more attracted to softer, curvier features versus more rigid, rough, strong, muscular features. So it really just depends on who the person is, what they like, if physical attractiveness weighs more than personality, because that happens too. There's a book called His Needs, Her Needs, and it talks about the 7 different categories of what individuals look for in their partner, and you rank them. Physical appearance is one of those categories. So if you have a high value on how your partner looks, then that's going to impact your attractiveness to them. Financial stability is another one, and I feel like that one oftentimes has a lot of negative connotation when it comes to females looking for financial stability in their male partners, being called gold diggers and stuff. But that is a category of the 7 of what individuals look for in their partner. There was one scene from American Dad, and maybe I'll find it and add it in here, where Francine was upset that Stan was only attracted to her because of how she looked and her appearance. So she let herself go and gained weight, grew out her mustache, let her hair, the roots of her hair grow out, and Stan was so repulsed from her, but he didn't want to leave her because he loved her. He made himself blind so that he could continue to be with her, but not be repulsed by her. Because he was blind, he no longer could work. At least he couldn't work at his current job. So he was talking to Francine and told her that she would need to get a job to support the family because now he couldn't work. And Francine became upset because she wanted a partner who could financially support her and financially support their family.
Can't believe you didn't show.
You know why I didn't show? I didn't get married to take care of somebody. I got married to be taken care of.
I'm not the bad guy here. You're the one who doesn't want to be with me because I'm blind.
I don't want to be a provider.
And I don't want an ugly wife.
So again, that feeds into the 7 categories of what people find attractive. Stan found a physically attractive spouse, something that he needed in his relationship, and Francine needed a financially stable spouse who could financially support the whole family.
I promise, when you start to sag, to subject you to risky elective surgery.
And I promise to be with you only if you make money and stay healthy.
Does not make you a bad person, and is not wrong for you to crave, want, or need those things in your partner. It is helpful to identify that those are things that you need, to communicate that to your partner, and then your partner accept that that's what you need in the relationship to continue to build those positive love bank deposits for your relationship.
On the healthy side.
Well, you can be thin and not healthy.
Yeah,
Exactly. But the biggest issue I have with what you said, I disagree with you. I think as a fit girl as well, fit girlies, but I still disagree with you because there's beautiful women who are in bigger bodies. Like, I feel like it's an arrogance almost to be like, oh, because I'm fit, I'm more attractive. Like it's ridiculous. And the biggest issue I have was what you said about men being attracted to you more just because you're fit. I think that's basing your worth on a man. And I'm married, as a married woman saying that, I just don't understand what that has to do with the principle of just physical attractiveness. It has nothing to do with if someone else deems you as attractive. It's like just solely based on the physical. So I 100% disagree with you.
I think she articulated that beautifully. I think that mirrors a lot of what I say. If it doesn't, leave a comment. But she articulated that beautifully.
I was debating actually stepping forward because of just what society has taught me my whole life. Is like, that is more beautiful, that is more beautiful, that is more beautiful. And I've really had to work on unlearning that, like, for so.
I don't think society believes fit is beautiful. And this goes to a creator that I watch who has talked about Pink, and when back in the 1990s, 2010s, and Pink was called fat, but she was actually fit and muscular. I don't believe society really sees fit women as beautiful because fit women are strong. They may have muscle. They may even have a little bit of fat. They are capable. And I think the pendulum of opinion in society has gone from heroin chic to larger individuals to maybe we're somewhere in between now. But heroin chic, that That is problematic. 300-pound obese individuals is problematic. Extremes are problematic. A healthy in between is honestly where we should be.
Many years, so many years, when I was like, 19, 20, I was like, oh, the reason I'm not in a relationship is because I'm fat. Like, I need to lose weight and then I'll become in a relationship. Then someone will love me. And I thought that for so many years. And like my self confidence was like down here. And I really had to work on unlearning that. And I'm still trying to unlearn that. But like I have learned over the years that people are attracted to different things. So if you ask one person, they're going to tell you, oh, this is what I'm attracted to. And if you ask someone else, they might have a completely different answer. So I think attractiveness is subjective. I think when it comes to society 100% says skinnier is better.
I mean, I hear a lot of what you're saying, but I'm curious, anybody want to share, like, what is the type of body that you're attracted to?
To men, on men, other.
Well, I don't know. There's people who are attracted. So whether it's men or women, what kind of bodies are you attracted to?
Because I've been smaller and bigger. I am tall. I already am eliminating a majority of people because I'm one taller man than me. But you know what? Somebody on your show, Zach Miko,
Was that the tall guy?
it was the model.
Oh, yeah.
As a plus size model, he was
Yes.
cute.
So, it's
He's very-
I
Sorry,
have
Zach.
dated some fantastically gorgeous men, but when I feel most comfortable and myself and can feel just kind of let it all out is a guy that's has some cushion. Gym people for gym people. And that's kind of
I thought that was funny that she said she was super tall. I, on the other hand, am super short. I have been made fun of for being so short and so small and having small feet and having small features and being very petite, except when I was overweight, that people would ask me if I bought shoes from Build-A-Bear or from the children's section often. When I was overweight, I don't think anyone really. I think the most comments I got when I was overweight was comments about whether or not I was pregnant because I'd be fat and bloated, and people all the time would ask if I was pregnant. Awkward. But I'm short, so I really never had to worry about anyone being shorter than me that I was dating.
seems like unattainable, not my vibe.
No, I appreciate the specificity. Anyone else want to-
So I do have a type, but also like I've never dated before. So I'd say like my type goes from my type goes from like Prince Eric to Fluffy.
The comedian?
Yes, the comedian Fluffy. I just feel like I could like hug him. Like he would give the best hugs and be like the best person.
It's a very
Like-
wide range.
Range
A
of
lot of men fit into that.
infinites to that. But like I don't discriminate against like body type or anything like that.
It's funny because for me as a bisexual woman, like what I like in women versus what I like in men is like very different. So men, I'm very much like you. Like dad bods are kind of like what I'm the most attracted to. I don't want someone like super, super big, but I also don't like super skinny or like super, super buff. Like you have a little muscle, that's fine, but like really buff guys, like not my thing. But for women,
Chest and shoulders. I like a good set of shoulders.
like way more different kinds of women, like thin, big, like I don't know. I'm just way more attracted, I think, when it comes to different kinds of women. Like when I'm swiping on dating apps, like I'll maybe swipe on like 1 in every 20 men, and like women, it's like 1 in 5. Women, I just think overall are much more beautiful than men. Like
And we have better profiles. Let's get this.
yes, that too.
All right, let's reset. It's okay for models to set a high standard for body image. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I'm not sure how I feel about this because models setting a high standard for beauty standards or high standard for body image, depending on who the models are and what they do, it can perpetuate problematic behaviors. Let's review or let's talk about America's Next Top Model. The Netflix series on reviewing that whole thing has came out, and yeah, there's a lot of problematic things in that were women who were extremely skinny and yet they were still being called fat. There were women very, very thin, needing medical attention, and that was the body to strive for being a model. And that was the model industry during that time. I remember being in high school and watching that and thinking, I'd love to be on America's Next Top Model. I would love to be on that show and be able to compete. I'm very short, so I didn't think that would actually be realistic because, let's be honest, they don't have 5-foot women walking runways. They did have like one season where there were petite individuals walking, but that's not very common. So, when models are setting high standards for body image that perpetuate and result in unhealthy body images or unhealthy bodies, that is a problem. That is problematic. And it goes for both extremes. If the standard for body image is to the extreme where you're malnutritioned, that is a problem. If the body image is to the extreme where you're obese, that is a problem. The two extremes create a problem.
I did some modeling as a kid and as a teenager, and even now as an adult, I did pinup. There's definitely like a high expectation and standard, especially like in runway modeling and things like that, because they push out these clothing and they only do it in certain sizes. There's standards that different companies have that they want to push out certain things. So like for pinups, they want you to look a certain way, they want you to do your makeup a certain way, they want you to dress a certain way for that style. And same thing for like Victoria's Secret, they want to promote lingerie, and there's a standard for each company and they have to live up to that standard based on what they're trying to promote.
And personally, for me, I always looked up to thin people. I always found them very beautiful. I was like, I want to be able to look like a Victoria's Secret model one day. It's okay to have a higher standard of beauty because it makes you want like, oh, I want to work harder on myself to achieve that type of body goal. I might not look exactly like them, like with the hips and everything, but I want to be able to look a healthy version of myself that looks something like that.
I think it's okay for models to have a higher standard of beauty because we are attracted to attractive things. A model is selling something. They're being hired to sell something and they're going to make it, hey, look at this. Look at the dress I'm wearing. And you as a consumer, you don't want to look at somebody that is going to.
I agree with that. Like, we as humans want to look at attractive people and want to look at things that are attractive, things that are symmetrical, things that are appealing. Usually is symmetrical, sometimes is asymmetrical depending on the circumstance. But as a majority, as a whole, we prefer things that are symmetrical and appealing, which, interestingly enough, is why a lot of current actors and actresses look very similar to actors and actresses and famous individuals from a few decades ago. It's like a copy paste of what society, the general public, the mass, has deemed attractive and something that they want to repeatedly see. So yeah, I can agree with that. That there's a high standard, but like, is it okay for models to set a high standard? I don't know if it's okay, but it definitely sells. It is harder to sell something when the base, the canvas, is not the norm or not preferred. I don't know if that makes sense.
Ugh, I don't even want to look at that person. What were they selling? I don't know.
Let's bring in our disagreeers. More disagreeers than I expected.
I completely disagree. I think we all forgot what modeling industry has done for women in our society. I think we kind of went blank for a second. Yeah, I'm a journalism major. I have my degree in journalism, and growing up with certain magazines and those women, just because they were thin does not mean they were healthy. Have y'all ever seen America's Next Top Model? There's a lot of detrimental.
Just talked about that. Yes. Just because models are setting a standard does that mean it is the ideal standard? Does that mean it's okay? Does that mean that should be idolized or implemented in the youth? Should companies have some sort of moral obligation to the general public on who they have represent whatever it is that they have? Sure. Is that going to necessarily always happen? No, because they care about money. They care about making money. They care about what is trending, what is attractive, what is needed in this moment. Health is boring. Companies that want to sell things don't want boring.
Things that were happening within that society, within that community. And I agree with you. Yes, we all want to look at something aesthetically pleasing, but that varies. Also, the modeling industry is known for not being diverse.
Right.
Hello. So I don't know. We just like blacked
It's
out for a
very
second.
diverse now.
Now.
It was not when I started.
Yeah, but
was
it's
not.
not that diverse now either. It's evolving, but I wouldn't go as far as saying it's that diverse. But I think that it can be very detrimental as a young woman. I think the body positivity movement kind of
It'd be interesting to see how diversity grows in the modeling industry in the next decade with everything that's going on in the United States.
was created in juxtaposition because of the modeling industry of the 90s and early 2000s, how toxic that was.
Yeah, I do think we have come a long way, but we still have like much further to go. The average size of the woman in the United States is a size 16. So why are we not seeing that reflected more on runways and modeling and stuff? You know, I also have issues with it when it comes to a lot of plus size modeling too, because a lot of plus size models, they have the curves, but they have no belly. And that's so unrealistic for most plus size women, where it's like, most plus size women, if you are a size 20 like I am, you're gonna have a stomach.
And most of those photos have been photoshopped.
Yeah, or they
and-
even put padding on smaller models.
I do not have size eyes or size R. I would not have thought that she was a size 20, but I have heard in the social media space that I'm in, I have heard that the models for plus size individuals that they choose are within the ideal body standard where they're more of a hourglass shape, but just a larger hourglass shape versus a common or the average individual who may have a belly or may not be as proportional as an hourglass, and that it is less helpful. It is less helpful to see the ideal hourglass shape in clothes than other diverse or less ideal body images in clothes and how those clothes fall and lay on those bodies or those types of bodies.
To make them look bigger.
The standards keep changing. How many models do they need to show all the different body types that for this to sell one dress?
Sounds like there's a tension between the market. If the data says more
Right.
people click on this body, even if it's unrealistic.
Risk.
That's true. Like, you're going to look at your statistic, you're going to look at what works, what has more engagement, and you're going to build off of that engagement. You're not going to waste money, waste time, waste resources on promotional products or promotional type products that do not have results. You're going to look at your results and continue to replicate that. That is a completely valid point. It's business, not personal. These are businesses trying to make money, trying to earn commissions, trying to make sales, and they're going to replicate what is working regardless of an individual's feeling.
Put that body in the ad.
Yes.
What you're saying is that's unfair representation of the true customer.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I'll like buy something that I saw on a plus size model who has a flat stomach, and then I put it on, and I'm like, oh, I hate this because it's clinging to like all the wrong parts. I just want to see something that looks. It doesn't have to look.
So I think that's where like reviews are important. If you are someone who has that type of separate sentiment where you think other people could benefit to see how those items of clothing fit on you, having a review and showing a photo of that could be helpful. And companies, clothing companies, like all companies should have a section or an option to be able to provide potential customers the opportunity to look at reviews and look at photos and look at how people are wearing whatever they have bought from that company and how it looks.
They look
Yeah.
different.
Women should be fit enough to protect themselves. Will the agreeers step forward?
This is something that I always say.
Everyone stepped forward. So I feel like this is subjective because fit enough to protect yourself. There's different ways that you can protect yourself, which is why like fight, freeze, fawn, and something else. But I think running is one of them, like flee, maybe flee. That starts with an F. There's different ways to define protecting yourself. Running away from a threat is protecting yourself. Fighting is protecting yourself. Freezing can be a form of protection. Fawn can be a form of protection. Like there's so many ways that can be defined that is difficult to provide a singular answer to. I think it's problematic that should even be a question that should be asked. But apart from that, I mean, you could be extremely fit, but like being fit and being able to do a bunch of stuff isn't going to necessarily protect you from being at gunpoint. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I'll see what they say.
Listen, no shame to people that are thinner, but I just think you're so vulnerable when you're thin. Like if you're petite and you're frail and you're not strong enough to fight back, I don't think that's safe for you.
And running was my weakest event. So I joined a running club so that I could get better at running because I thought that would make me a better person overall, I guess. I've been in soccer. I've done CrossFit competition. I've done a lot of physically straining events, and oftentimes, because I'm so small, I'm usually the example of small people can do things. And yes, I can lift someone twice my size in a fireman carry. Is it comfortable? No. Can I do it? Yeah. Like people will underestimate me and think that I'm weaker because I'm smaller, and at times I can look like a child because I'm tiny and small. But that doesn't mean I'm not capable. I don't know. Maybe I'll think about this more, why this made me So defensive.
Thing.
I think we should have to.
Yes.
Like it sucks that we're in a society that we do, but we have to.
Yes.
Say
You're,
that
you're
again.
pro, yeah, you're prone to
Facts. What I just said. Why is this even a question? Why should this even be asked? And that also made me like the end of her response made me think of so oftentimes because I am so small and so petite but yet so strong, whenever I'd be with friends who were larger than me and I would help carry them, not like carry them, but like have them. I had blood work done. I'm not abused. I just bruise. Um, so I would carry them, help stabilize them, walk them wherever they were going because I was so small and petite and so dainty, but yet so strong. Me being with them, holding them up, walking with them, it made them seem less out of it than they were. I'll finish this question and then I'm going to close out because it's been an hour of recording. And as I mentioned before, Jubilee likes to copyright strike, and I need to make sure that most of this content is from me and not from them, because if you want to watch the original, watch the original. If you want to watch my commentary, like, subscribe, comment. All right, let's finish this question.
know some punches, know some locks. I don't know. But yeah, definitely stay prepared.
Yeah, as someone who trains kickboxing, boxing, and Muay Thai, at our facility, like we do offer like women's self-defense classes, and like no matter like what body size you are, I highly recommend every single woman to take at least one class just so you know the basics and just like for your own protection.
Well, I got attacked by a dog once when I was on a walk. It came out of this house and it came after me, and I was with a group of friends. Of course, it comes after the big one. Don't get me wrong. But it was scary. I couldn't run away from that problem, but my friends were able to, and that came to my mind. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at cardio. I know what I need.
That goes with the first comment that I made. How do you define protecting yourselves? Is it fight, flight, freeze, fawn? That's what it was. It was flight, not fly. Flight. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. How do you define protecting yourself? All four of those are means to protect yourself that your body, your mind automatically will do because survival is its number one priority.
True moron. You need to be able to carry yourself,
Right.
pull yourself up,
Right.
like you know,
Yes.
run.
Even for you, for your kids, you know, an emergency, your kid is swallowing something and it got stuck, or you know, everything around you needs your full potential energy. So definitely everybody work on their own pace and just make sure that you work on things that are going to help you and stay safe because it's dangerous.
Not to be an easy person.
Aside from dogs, which has anyone ever been in a situation where they've had to defend themselves?
I can talk about it because it doesn't hurt anymore.
I am small and mighty, and I will stand up for myself.
I was young.
I normally don't put trigger warnings on my videos, but I'm adding a trigger warning to the topic that is about to be discussed in the Jubilee video.
I did get molested, and it's fine. It's fine. I'm over it. I know it wasn't my fault. See, I work with my brain a lot. So for me, I was laying down, and it was more of a like situation where I couldn't move because of what everything was that was happening around me. And my thoughts were just like, I need to find a way to survive. I need to find a way to push this person from me. And I was 13. So it was like, you know what? Pray, 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 pray. Because there was a cousin sleeping next to me, and I was like, please have her move. Please have her move so I can move. And she did. And as soon as she moved, I found the way to just push him. Like I found the courage to push him off. It came from I don't know where, but it came, and whatever happened after that. So it is a situation where, as women, we are subject to not just men, but to a lot of people, and where we need to find a way to protect ourselves, and not just us, as we're growing older. Like we should be showing our children how to and who not to trust instead of judging them, instead of expecting from them. You should be teaching them to find their way and what works for them, to find a courage to save themselves from whatever is going to be a struggle for them in the future.
Oftentimes, there are things that individuals use to cope from traumatic events. Sometimes it can be food, sometimes it can be working out, sometimes it can be different things. Her sharing that, and I'm making the assumption that she has used food for comfort and for coping, but at the same time, she values being strong and independent because of the previous comments that she's made about being fit and about making sure that she can run, making sure that she is capable of doing things. Her sharing that story does provide some clarity, and I have the assumption that she has used food to help cope with some of that. That doesn't make her a bad person. That's not wrong. She's still here. She's still living. She's still surviving. She's still living each day. Like, that is, some people might not see that as a great achievement, but that is a great achievement. Everything that she has done has ensured her continued existence. And you can't fault those choices because survival is the highest priority. As she continues to heal and continues to evolve her coping skills, wear and tear is real. Wear and tear of your knees, your joints, your ligaments, it's real. And the more weight you carry, whether it's fat or muscle or carrying things, it does create wear and tear on your body. I do care about people. I do have feelings. I do wish the best for people. Dang, I think I only went through like 15 minutes of this. I have over an hour recording. Well, this is going to be fun to edit. If you enjoyed this, and if you enjoyed my commentary, if you enjoyed this video, if you like my wig, leave a red tomato emoji. And if you want to support me, like and subscribe, and I will try to be more consistent in my videos. I will do a part 3 of this, so stay tuned for that. And I know there's some other Jubilee stuff, so I'll probably do reactions to those. I know there's been a new one, a new Jubilee video with, is it Julia, one of the coaches from Biggest Losers, or The Biggest Loser, that reality TV show. One of the coaches is on there, and like there's like 20 fat activists debating her. I don't know when I'll get to that, but that is on my list of reactions to do among some of the larger videos and projects I want to do. And some of the larger ones, there's one in particular I would absolutely love if more resourceful individuals take it and run with it and find out more information about it. Because again, this is a hobby. I'm not going to pay to do like deep dives and background checks and research and all that stuff. But there's one that I'm working on that I personally was largely involved in the community for, that I would absolutely love to find more information and clarity on from another more resourceful individual. So that would be really cool. I just need to prioritize, make time, and do. Like I said in my last video, if you don't prioritize it, you're not going to do it. Gotta prioritize and make time for it and then do it. Have I been doing that with this? No. Which is why I haven't recorded for a month. I hope you all are doing well. See you guys in the next video, and I'll catch you later. Bye.